Well, good evening. My name is Danny Baker, and I'm the Director of Liturgy and Music here at St. James Catholic Church, and it is my joy to welcome you, especially to live choral music. It's wonderful. You are really in for a treat tonight. I have been blessed numerous times this week by their rehearsals here in this space. I am a little partial to this space. I love making music here, and this choir makes it all the better. It's really incredible. So without further ado, I do want to remind you to please turn off your cell phones and any watches that might make noise. We are live streaming this performance tonight. So we want to give our live stream audience the best experience they can. And if we have any rowdy children that need to exercise, they're welcome to do so out in the gathering space. It's nice and big. So here you have a John Rutter Christmas presented by the Liberty Community Chorus, accompanied by Nanette Krause, under the direction of Mr. Brian Taylor.
thank you for coming out. There's no football games tonight, like we had at our last concert. And it's winter out, finally. It doesn't feel like summer anymore, so Christmas music sounds right. Tonight, my hope is that you take something home with you that cheers your heart. There's plenty of it in John Rutter's music. Why John Rutter? I hope that you read a little bit about that. I think he is the most popular living composer on the earth. I really do. He has a way of writing music for the singer, which is so good for the voice and for the heart and for the listener equally as great. Mr. Rutter usually has a painting or a poem or something that helps him respond when he's asked to write a piece of music. Candlelight Carol, for most choral people that are either in church or in a community group, they've sung this piece before. It's kind of like the Gaelic blessing that you may have heard. If you attend church, look for the name composer Rutter. It's in there, like Mark Hayes is for many of us that hear great music. He was asked at a convention in Pittsburgh to write a piece about the love of a mother to her son, Mary to baby Jesus. He talked about the elements of his choir, how difficult the music they could read, all those things that go into commissions to composers. And he was so touched by that. The first image that he had on his mind was the Netherlands painter Geertken from late 1400s. And the painting of the Nativity at night, very dark. If you had the frame of the picture here, oh, what a beautiful artwork that is. For a minute, put a large painting here with mainly black. And in the bottom of the picture almost looks like a little porcelain doll. Very primitive baby Jesus, but it's illuminating the rest of the painting. It lights up his mother's face, lights up the angels, and above them is a window that looks out into the fields. And guess who's there? The shepherds. And they're being told about the birth of Jesus from the angels. And that's what this song is all about. You hear it in the beautiful melody line and in the beautiful chorus that keeps getting bigger and bigger as it goes on. Candlelight Carol. how in the world do we sing with masks on? And how can you tell what we're saying? It's hard. It's hard even with a microphone and a mask to be as clear. When I take it off, it's much better. I leave it on for the purpose of asking you to listen. When it gets to be a fast piece, both rhythmically is challenging in this Star Carol, but the enunciation, that's one of the things that this choir loves to do, right, choir, is work on their enunciation. And some of it stays in the mask, for sure. There's some things we can't help. But it's what we're doing. We're proud of that. Enjoy this fun Star Carol. Mary's Lullaby. John Rutter this week will be performing his big Christmas show for the first time in a couple of years. And so I know he's busy rehearsing with all kinds of instruments. Sometimes they just do recordings. And in listen to this, they were recording with the BBC, and they got to the final night of recording for this album. They had one more recording the next day, but they were 3 minutes missing of recorded material. So the leader of the BBC asked him, "Could you write another piece tonight?" This is what came out of it, this beautiful carol called Mary's Lullaby. It has what I can describe at the very beginning is this choral waterfall. Listen for that throughout the piece. The melody comes in, and then the tenors and altos start, and it starts descending down, hands off to the basses. It's a lovely way he's made this piece even more beautiful. Mary's Lullaby. Enjoy. Christmas season is full of great tunes and carols that we sometimes don't sing. I Saw Three Ships. Maybe you remember that from preschool or middle school or high school or college or church. I saw three ships come sailing in. It is not that one. It is another melody line. When Mr. Rutter wrote this, it was written for Sir David Wilcox and the Bach Choir at that time for a lessons in carol service in London. He included some non-singing parts in here, which I was going to take time to teach you. They're whistling parts. Whistling, you either have it or you don't. And with masks on, it's more of a challenge than you think. And the keys doesn't set great anyway. But they sang it, they whistled it the best they ever had tonight in rehearsal. So, sorry you don't get to whistle with us, but don't judge us on the whistles, please. The next tune is one of the two that we could end a program on, but I chose to put it kind of in the middle. It's kind of the answer to the title of Andy Williams. It's the most wonderful time of the year, except it's the very best time of the year. So it's similar to that. Now, Andy Williams for my house, when I was growing up, meant we were going to clean the house. And Mother always put Andy Williams' record on. And it was like, oh, but he's got such a great voice, Mom. Why would you ruin it like that? Tonight, I hope that the words of this beautiful carol give us all hope, remind us of people who we have our arms around and our hands by right now in this very room, our families who are nearby or far away, and those loved ones who these words will remind us of, who are no longer with us, but we have cherished memories of from our childhood, parents, grandparents, uncles. Some of the best memories of my relatives were at Christmas time. Enjoy. For those that, how many of the first time you've been in this sanctuary? Beautiful, eh? Wow. It sings well. Danny tells me he worships well here. And it's just lovely. They've been great to us to have all of our concerts here this year. And the chorus loves being here. So now we need to, one of the great things they have about this facility is a nice digital organ, which Fred will be playing the handbells on occasionally. So get ready to hear handbells. There aren't any people throwing those at all, making those handbells. It's all in his, I think, right hand, maybe, and other noises in his left hand. It's going to be fun. Rejoice and be merry. Thank goodness for Zoom with a capital Z. It's how most choirs stayed together throughout the worst parts of the pandemic. And then we decided, you know what, we're gonna record something outside. So Belvoir opened their doors, Belvoir Winery, and we went out in October a year ago and recorded a concert. It was fun. We had funny things happen there that all choir rehearsals have, except this one involved a low-flying plane right over a beautiful "How Can I Keep From Singing" piece that we were doing. Made it difficult. We had to redo it, but it was very fun. We took a break for several months, came back and did an outdoor concert at Belvoir up on the veranda. And it was special because we felt like we were still human, trying to find our voices through the masks. And it was the first day that the mandate for masks was lifted in Clay County that very day. And we had about 200 people out in the grass that day watching a concert for the first time in a long, long time. The choir came back all vaccinated and masked last fall in August. We have how many new people, brand new people to the chorus? Raise your hand. Well, raise them high. Come on, be proud. Yay. Thank you. So they're hugely dedicated. Their first time in, they have to buy an outfit. And so they pay a dues after that, every session. The cool thing about our last gala that we had at Belvoir, Jan Crable was our MC. Jan will be back on our next concert right here. You're going to love that. We raised $3,500 just for scholarships for singers. You did that. So thank you very much for doing that. That helps singers who cannot afford to pay $45 for dues or $80 for an outfit the chance to have whatever part of that helping given to them. So that's a great thing that you help us with. Tonight, your tickets, I think they're a great price for what we're able to do, and certainly if you're able to help us on donations, if you'd like to make a donation before the end of the year, we'd love to have that. We really would. It would go to helping us. Can you imagine? We have usually 85 in the chorus when we're not in a pandemic. We have a great library of about 400 pieces times 85. Can you imagine what it costs to buy just one piece of John Rutter's? They're about $2.50, sometimes more. apiece. And so a lot of our funding goes to that, certainly. And so anything that you could do to help us, we would certainly appreciate it. And you have done that year after year. I can't believe we're in our 19th season. Yay. I quit teaching at Kearney after 15 years and became the full-time director of music at Liberty United Methodist Church. And my wife, I told her, I'm going to have so much time off now if I'm not teaching that maybe I'll just start a community chorus. And it has been such a blessing. That first summer we had 110 people show up, and we performed our first concert at William Jewell College. And it's been going, and I said, well, what do we do now? It's just one concert. And they said, let's do more. So we've come into now 4 concerts per year, and we try to invite some special directors along the way, like Dr. Eve Ely over here, who directed last February 2019. Eve, good to see you. What a blessing it was at the Community of Christ. Thanks for coming. Can there be one more arrangement of Silent Night? Well, or Amazing Grace. Somebody else is going to come up with a new arrangement of it, but thank goodness John Rutter did this one. It's so beautiful. When the organ conked out at the St. Nicholas Church in Oberndorf, Germany, they brought out the guitar, they wrote a new tune. The words were already written by the priest. They combined and used the guitar that night. And several months later, the organ worker came to fix the organ. And on the console was the music to Silent Night. And that's how it started across the world. One parish to another. And he creates, John Rutter, this beautiful masterpiece, Silent Night. You'll hear angels. He divides the choir up as he's done on almost every piece. 3-part women, 3-part men. It's delightful. And the accompaniment is gorgeous. You'll enjoy Silent Night. Okay, it's your turn now. We're going to sing together, "O Come All Ye Faithful." So those of you that want to try out for the chorus, I may walk out and hear you. You do know this is an unauditioned choir. That's what makes it so magical to hear them sing this beautifully. "O Come All Ye Faithful," John Rutter lets it set as normal for 2 verses. The first verse is organ and you, and then we sing a cappella. We get a taste of what that's like, and then all of a sudden, the next 2 verses, we all sing unison and a soprano descant on top of it, a fanfare. Don't let them lead you astray. Then the last verse, we start out strong on the melody line, stay on it the whole time. Then we have a chorus. The choir takes on a whole echo part of their own. Don't let them betray you. Keep going with me. We'll make it to the end, and you get to hear the full organ and everything. Let's have a good time singing together. "O Come All Ye Faithful." Please stand. The words are in your program, in the text sheet. We would love to have you at our next rehearsal. It's January 13th. Sharon Diddle, our librarian, it's going to be hard to get all of those copies to them. I don't think I'm happier until I get to the Christmas season with music. I know John Rutter, several interviews, go on YouTube and follow some of them. He talks about, well, Christmas is so important to us. It helps us remember and wish for a time that we wish happened all the time. Reflect back on days of our childhood. But he also ends it with saying, well, I hope they know some of my other music too, not just my Christmas music. We're fortunate to have wonderful singers who dedicate a lot of their time to us over the years from the get-go. One of those tonight is leaving us after all of these 19 years and moving on to other places. And I told her I would not say anything about her, so I am. Deborah Roach is from the alma mater of William Jewell College, and I didn't meet her there because she's a little older than me, but not much. But who was there on that first rehearsal? Deborah Roach was, and she sung in the symphony chorus for many years. In fact, the symphony is rehearsing with a guest conductor tonight during this concert, and we have 3 of their singers, and they have allowed them to be with us tonight and still allowing them to sing. So thank you, Charles Bruffy, for doing that. And the 3 of you who are in there in our choir. Deborah has given a lot to us. We want to say thank you to you, Deborah. And we had to have a great descant in the concert, so that's what that last piece was all about. Let's give Deborah a nice round of applause. And somewhere I have the last piece of music. There it is. As I hope I do after a good church service at the Methodist Church, is to take something out into the week. And I take your words with you of this music and a melody line or two. Help us get us through the next few weeks and months, but particularly as we celebrate with our families and in our Christmas season. Thank you for coming. It's been a ball. We're going to remember this for a long time. If you're interested in being part of the chorus, we'd love to have you. Write me, and we'll get back to you. Thanks for coming. Danny Baker, where are you at? Danny, there he is back there. Let's thank Danny Baker and St. James Catholic Church.